How is everybody doing today? In this video, we are going to be looking at all of the things in consideration when it comes to summoning on Acheron, when it comes to the 4 stars, the 5 stars surrounding her, the reruns, the future patches, the before patches, all that type of stuff. There's a lot to go forward, and I mean a lot, especially with how Acheron is with her brand new kit that is so different from every other DPS. There's going to be a multitude of things to talk about when it comes to her and also the surrounding 5 stars. Before we have to get into the rest of what we're going to be talking about today, I'd like to mention the sponsor for today's video, which is Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is a free-to-play RPG with a multitude of exciting game modes spanning between both PvE and PvP, and Raid Shadow Legends also has an expansive list of over 800 characters to collect from, each with an endless amount of ways to customize and build your champions, allowing any style of player, whether you want to play casually or become one of the best, up for you to decide. And little did we know, Raid Shadow Legends is actually undergoing their 5th anniversary, and if we know anniversaries, we know this is the very best time to start off if you haven't already. Raid Shadow Legends is continuously updating the game over its 5 years, with 6 new features being added in the last 6 months alone. Some of these updates include the real-time PvP mode, Live Arena, where you face off against other players, showcasing your brand new units off in hopes to come out on top, in a brand new PvE mode, Cursed City, that rewards you with one of the brand new rarity of characters and drops a multitude of amazing rewards. If all this sounds amazing, make sure to scan the QR code or click the link in the description to download the game. Not only will this help me out, but this will also give you a massive head start with the starter pack that comes with it, including items such as XP boosters, silver, rank up material, and even a free unit with even more amazing rewards as you level up, all included being around $100 value for absolutely free, just to catch up and join in on the fun. Make sure to join my clan RNG Gremlin so we can all enjoy the rewards and the festivities that Raid Shadow Legends has to offer for their 5th anniversary. Again, make sure to download using the link or QR code on the screen, and let's celebrate Raid Shadow Legends 5th anniversary together. Thank you so much, Raid Shadow Legends, for the sponsor, and let's get back to the video. Now that we're back into the video, we specifically need to talk about Acheron and what she does, because yes, she is nowhere near any of the DPSs that we know of so far, and how we have that foundational level of understanding of how DPSs work. Acheron said, no, I work differently, because Acheron will be having a non-energy gauge for her ultimate, now based on stacks when it comes to debuffs being applied to enemies. And this can be done in a multitude of different ways. When it comes to Acheron, she does it from her skill. We also get the stacks as well from the allies on the team when they throw a debuff on the character or on the enemy, and then the enemies themselves can actually stack for Acheron's ultimate, which is absolutely insanity. You actually have multiple different ways to gain these stacks, and I would really love to know specifically, because you know the dogs that hold the soda, we know the swarm bugs. If we get a multitude of start basically dropping and exploding, are we just gonna get multiple Acheron ults in one turn, which would be absolutely nasty if that was the case. Acheron does hit adjacent from what I know from her skill, and then from her ultimate, it looks like it hits everyone with you picking a main target. I'm not 100% sure, or it might just hit adjacent for her ultimate, but for the fact that she doesn't use energy, it's absolutely a wild choice for a DPS, I would say. And looking at the characters that are going to be alongside her, of course, we know as of right now that Sparkle's in the game currently, so she holds some very high value when it comes to being a Harmony unit if you haven't already picked her up. Sparkle does seem to be a character that is definitely going to be here for a very long time in terms of some of the best supports in the game. But of course, we have to also remember that Robin will be coming out in version 2.2, so we'll be talking about that a little bit more in a second. But going into the characters and the reruns for version 2.1, Acheron will be on the first half with Luocha, which sadly enough, in my honest opinion, I think Luocha took a little too long to come back for him to be a character worth getting on a rerun. I just think for a lot of the teams that he's on, he's already been replaced. Ho-Ho and Fushwen give a fat ton of resources in regards to the buffs that they give, and also the sustain that they're able to give with CC prevention, CC cleanse every turn, all that type of stuff. They don't have to worry about a cooldown. Luocha's really great for skill point positive type of teams, and for the teams that really love skill points. But realistically, if you build your characters good enough, you shouldn't have to run into that issue, especially if you have Sparkle on your account. And if you don't have throw on speed boots on the support, you'll probably be fine and not need that skill point positive nature that Luocha gives. His field is really good, and he still has an ultimate that's able to take away buffs from enemies. But so far, currently at the moment, we don't have any reason to do so, because these enemies don't really buff themselves to that insane amount to the point where we have to cleanse it right off. We basically beat them as is. And looking at someone like Lynx, who's actually on the 4-star banner for Aventurine's banner as well, she takes Luocha's spot in a lot of the teams that he's in because of the added taunt for someone like Clara, for someone like Blade. Lynx really takes up that spot, and then Fu Xuan Ho will take up every other spot. So it is a little bit sad that Luocha took a little bit too long to come back. I think if he would have came back earlier, maybe before Fu Xuan or after Fu Xuan, then we might have seen some play or some reasons to rerun and summon for him, but it just seems like that's not going to be the case. Going for the second phase banners, we do have Aventurine and Jingliu, who we all know Jingliu is the undisputed #1 character because of all she does and the damage that she does. It is very interesting to see that Jingliu and Acheron are basically competing for the spot of the DPS summons, unless you're trying to pick up both, which is actually absolutely insane for the amount of jades you're gonna need. And then we have Aventurine for phase 2 as well, which looks like an absolutely crazy sustain, especially with how he has the stackable shields. He has a follow-up attack that hits enemies, an ult that hits enemies, and also having the ability to buff and debuff when it comes to debuffing enemies and also buffing allies. He looks like a really cool sustain. We don't know his absolute value and how insane these multipliers are for his buff, so we're gonna have to wait till he comes out. But looking like a really nice banner for his end with Lynx, Luca, and Serval. Serval's been getting a little bit of play. She is a little bit well aged with what she's been given with the brand new characters coming out. Luca being one of the better dot characters for sure for physical because of his massive break effect hits, and then Lynx being a really great sustain with Eidolons. And then going back into the phase 1 banner, we have Gallagher, which looks like a really amazing healer, who on my side, on honest opinion, I think that Gallagher actually poses as a 4-star Luocha with how he works, because if you use his skill or his ultimates, either or, and you inflict a debuff with Gallagher, whoever hits this character, let's say the main boss, they get healed. So it kind of gets put into a Luocha standpoint where the field basically healed whoever hit. Gallagher just has to hit the person that has the debuff on them, and then once that happens, everyone else gets the heal. So they get a pseudo Luocha effect, and you also get a free one from the 4-star selector that we get from the event, so that's really cool. We also have Pella, who's going to help us with the stacks that we need for Acheron if you don't already have her, because you will be able to get that defense down on the ultimate. And then going for also the skill on E4, you get ice res reduction, which also counts as a debuff. They don't stack at the same time, if I'm not wrong. One attack is one stack, so you'll end up getting it no matter what, whether through your skill or whether through your ultimate. And then if you have resolution shines, you possibly might even get it through your light cone as well, so that might make it so it's a guaranteed stack off of Pella. And then Dan Heng, well, Dan Heng is just here. I don't think he inflicts anything, but you know, I could be wrong. I don't play Dan Heng, my bad. I'm looking at the value for when it comes to Acheron versus all the characters around her. She does have really tough competition. It's not as cut and dry and saying Acheron's the best value at the current moment. She holds way too much, kind of like how REHOO and Mei was, where she was at the top and then everyone was getting ranked below her. Acheron, because we don't know as much into her kit, we don't know absolutely how explosive her damage is, nor do we know how the, I could just say, substitution of the stack mechanic versus energy is going to play into her favor. We're gonna have to wait and see till we showcase her, try her out, all that type of stuff, which I am very excited to do. So make sure to leave a sub and like and all that type of stuff if you haven't already. But going ahead and looking at what the rankings are for specifically all the characters that are currently in the game at the current moment, we do have to notice that Robin and also Buhi are going to be coming into the game as well, with Robin being one of the characters for sure that is definitely going to have high precedence in the value of characters that are coming out in the future, because yes, she is Harmony. As we may know, all these Harmony characters are by far some of the most busted characters in the game, including Ruan Mei, Sparkle, Bronya, and Tingyun. These are some of the best of the best, universally loved on every team. So it is reasonable to say that yes, Robin is by far going to be one of the higher value characters for sure. So if I had to say, when you're looking into Acheron, who are the characters that you desperately need to look at? If you need a sustain, Aventurine might be the way for you, because he looks like he's going to be absolutely amazing character with being able to buff and debuff, also attacking the enemies as well, which gives him a multitude of different factors of being a sustain that he shouldn't have for being a sustain. He should just keeping you alive, but he's giving you so much more than just that. So that already puts Luocha out of the, you know, if you need a sustain, get Luocha. Not really, because you can really get Lynx and also Aventurine at the same time, which is a win-win compared to someone like Luocha, where although Gallagher is really nice and he is going to be a really cool unit, I do think the value you get from not only having Lynx and Aventurine may hold a little bit more in value than just straight up going to get Luocha. And then when it comes to a DPS, that's where we have to also wait for comparison on Jingliu, because we know Jingliu is the #1 in the game. We know she gives you absolutely everything you possibly need and absolutely wreaks havoc on all the content in the game. without a sweat in regards to Jingliu and how she is. So yes, it is weird that they're trying to compete with each other when it comes to Jingliu versus Acheron, which I'm very excited to see how Acheron does in real gameplay when it comes to using it on my account, using it on your account, all that type of stuff. That's going to be very interesting. The only problem we have, besides looking into future characters like Robin, who we do have to know is Harmony, and Boo Hill, who also is a DPS, but I don't think a lot of people are interested right now in Boo Hill until we learn more. I think the only character that is very scary is Sparkle, specifically just because, yes, Sparkle is one of the better supports in the game and by far probably the second best guaranteed underneath Ruame, just because she's able to bypass the skill point restriction. She's able to generate skill points. She's able to advance forward. Someone that actually probably will work well with Acheron. So if you're running low on supports right now, I think in terms of full investment, in terms of getting the character that will age the best, Sparkle will by far probably be the #1 option when it comes to trying to just build out your account. If you're looking for a DPS, we're going to have to wait realistically for Acheron and Jingliu to get their comparisons out, just because Acheron, with her having this brand new mechanic, we can't really easily determine how great she's going to be, specifically with, again, someone like Jingliu, who gives herself a bat on the crit rate, who's able to give herself a massive amount of damage boost on her ultimate and skill and all that type of stuff. Acheron has a lot of competition. I'm not saying that Acheron is going to be bad. Nowhere in that shape or form. I think she's going to be absolutely amazing, specifically with special teams catered to her with the debuff mechanic. I can see Acheron being one of the strongest characters for sure, because she's not limited by energy and she has all that cool stuff. And of course, she's right in May. She's right in May, Raiden Shogun, all that type of stuff. She is that expert, so they're going to make her strong for sure. And with all the animations that she has and how absolutely amazing she's going to be, I am very excited for sure for Acheron 100%. So Sparkle right now is right there with Acheron in terms of, you know, you need to summon on one or the other. If you're looking for a sustain, I do think Aventurine will hold a little bit better than Luocha. And then we have to wait for these guys. Sadly, we can't get any information on these guys until Acheron's already gone. So for the most part, these guys are out of the picture for now. If you're already looking into getting one of these characters, whether it be Aventurine or also Acheron, and then Sparkle's here to taunt as well, because as we may know, she's one of the better characters in the game. So let me know, in my honest opinion, what you are thinking in regards to who you're going to summon on, whether it be Acheron, whether it be Aventurine, Jingliu, or maybe even Luocha, or if you've already gone Sparkle, now you don't have any jades, but now you're going to start spending, all that type of stuff. I would love to know in the comments. But other than that, that is pretty much going to be it for this video. I'm very excited. I'm really curious on how this Acheron kit's going to work, with her being one of the first characters to do this. And I love that they were hinting at even more possibilities for the kit that they may bring to these characters in the game. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. Let me know what y'all think about these characters. Let me know if you're going to be summoning for Acheron, all that type of stuff. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.